Yeah, we are back. Welcome back to KAMMA. I'm Khalil Deal.
I'm Andio.
We are KAMMA about to talk about our early predictions for UFC Vegas 95 for the main card. Early predictions for the main card UFC Vegas 95. Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivak. We got some changes, folks, as we were recording this live. We just found out about some changes. If you guys were watching the early predictions, there's been a bit of a change. So what happened here is the changes that Alan Nascimento versus Jafel Filo, that fight got canceled due to Nascimento with getting an illness, undisclosed illness. And now that fight has been replaced. But the good news is we got back a fight. We got back Chris Gutierrez is back in this one against Quang Lee, fighting on short notice there. So I'm going to go through the card and tell you guys what is in the main card now. The main card consists of Janna Santos versus Chelsea Chandler. Danny Barlow has now moved up to the main card because of the changes versus Nikolai Veretennikov. If you guys want the review on that fight, check out the early prelims predictions. Then we got Chepe Mariscal versus Damon Jackson. Chris Gutierrez coming back here in this card against Quang Lee, coming out of short notice. And then, of course, the main event, Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivak. So
All
we'll
right.
start off with NDO with the first fight, Janna Santos against Chelsea Chandler. Who you got here, Andy?
All right. Starting it off is 14-8 Santos against 6-2 Chelsea Chandler. So here yeah, they're both approximately the same age, and they're approximately the same height and the same reach. Not that any of that matters here. There's no way I can take Janna Santos coming off a 3-fight losing streak. On top of that, I don't think her head's going to be in it. I think she's just like probably fighting out her contract, and she probably holds kind of a grudge against the UFC for releasing her husband, whatever his name was there. So why am I saying all of this? Because it's a women's fight here. But on the flip side, Chelsea Chandler, I think she's going to be tougher. I think she's going to be stronger, and she has more to prove. And also, I think her BJJ is better. And honestly, I don't think I remember Janna Santos ever having a decent fight or doing anything that impressed me. And I don't think that's going to change tomorrow. Sorry, this weekend. So yeah, give me Chelsea Chandler. And let me tell you, she fought against Norma Dumont and she ran away like Forrest Gump there. But as soon as she hit that cage, man, it stopped her and she turned back around and had a semi-decent fight in her loss to Dumont, which isn't a terrible loss. And she came back after that loss to beat
Josiana Nunes.
Josiana Nunes, who's nothing special, and she did the pulling, the running away thing at some point in that fight, but she turned around quickly enough, so she's getting better at that a little, and I think she's just going to be too much for the departing Janna Santos, I feel. What do you got, real deal?
All right, loving it, man. In the main card already, we're starting off good. I am in agreement. Of course, I got Chelsea Chandler to win this one. Now,
Of
uh,
course.
it's not because Chelsea Chandler is so amazing or anything like that. Like you mentioned, she did run away from Norma Dumont there. That was hilarious in that fight. But Norma Dumont is a very, very good fighter. Now, Janna Santos, it's more the fact that Janna Santos is really bad. Now, she's lost to Carol Rosa, who we just talked about in the early prelims by split decision. She lost a unanimous decision to Holly Holm, and she got knocked out by Irene Aldana. Her two wins were to Caitlin Vieira by unanimous decision way back in 3 years and 5 months ago, and then she won a unanimous decision back in 2020 to Julia Stoliarenko.
Yeah.
Now, Chelsea Chandler in her UFC debut knocked out Julia Stoliarenko. So that's some MMA math for you there. Chelsea knocked out Julia Stoliarenko
All
in
that
her
means
UFC
is
debut.
Stoliarenko couldn't apply her submission hold. That's what that
Well,
problem.
it just shows that Chelsea Chandler's a bit better because she was able to knock her out, and Janna was only able to win a unanimous decision. Okay, it shows that she's the stronger fighter there. She, like I said, we talked about the loss to Norma Dumont, but then she beat Josiane Nunes, who's also like looks like a man and fights like a man, like pretty much a dude, Josiane Nunes, and she beat her by unanimous decision in that fight. So yeah, definitely got to go with Chelsea Chandler here. Yeah, like you said, she's a better, way better jiu-jitsu, fighting out of Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. She's got very good jiu-jitsu skills and very good ground game. Janna Santos is just not good at anything. She's not good at anything anymore. She used to be good a while ago. Now, not looking good at all. You know, losing 3 fights in a row. Her striking hasn't been solid. We've seen her gas out in fights, and her takedowns are not very good. And takedown defense not good at all. We've seen her get on her back and get taken down easily, especially in her fight against was it Irene Aldana that took her down a bunch of times, or Carol Rosa? Anyways, I don't remember which one of those two, but she did get taken down in her last couple of fights there. So yeah, I like Chelsea Chandler to get the win here. Just overall better fighter, way tougher, stronger.
Yeah, probably
She's
now.
also going to be a bit bigger too.
In fairness to Santos, if you want to do MMA math, Rosa Chiasso and Home could probably Rosa, Home, and Aldana could probably all beat Chelsea Chandler even now. But we are looking at probably just Santos that's not in it anymore, right? So yeah, I can't go with Santos here. We're in agreement.
Yes, an agreement to the first fight in the main card here. So that's looking good. All right, so let's move on up to the next fight. We've got Chepe Mariscal versus Damon Jackson. This is going to be a banger of a fight here. I really think that this one is going to be a really, really good fight.
This is my new favorite fight on the card, actually. We lost like all of them.
Yeah, seriously, we did lose a lot of fights. This is going to be a smaller card with only 10 fights in the entire card, you know, so we got to make the best of what we got here. And in this particular fight, Chepe Mariscal is definitely the pick for me. I like him in this one. I think that he is just relentless with the wrestling and the grappling. He takes you down no matter what. Last fight against Morgan Charriere, who was actually pretty decent, he won a split decision against him, and then he knocked out Jack Jenkins. He actually was an arm injury, actually, Jack Jenkins had in that fight. He did win a unanimous decision against Trevor Peek, who's also pretty damn good. And then after that, it was in the LFA. I see you making faces over there. I think that you're probably going for Damon Jackson, and you know what? Damon Jackson is a good dog. He's a very.
Well, I want to give a reaction as you list all the fights they've had. You know.
Yeah, but I have a feeling you might be going for him. Hopefully you're not, but we'll see. But Damon Jackson is a good dog. The guy is very dangerous, man. He is 36 years old. I like Chepe Mariscal to be the younger guy there. He's going to have a 4-inch height advantage, Damon Jackson, and a 2-inch reach advantage. He did get his last win against Alexander Hernandez by split decision, but he did lose to Billy Quarantillo and got knocked out by unanimous decision, and then he got knocked out by Dan Ige. He beat Pat Sabatini by knockout and Dan Argueta by unanimous decision. So it's going to be a tough one. It's just that Damon Jackson, you know, the guy, you know, he's also good at his ground game is also pretty decent, but I just don't feel that he has the better wrestling. I think Chepe Mariscal has a better wrestling. I think Damon Jackson's jiu-jitsu might be better. I think he's got some good subs there. Out of his 23 wins, let me see how many subs he has. Yeah, he has 15 submissions, so he's a very good submission specialist there. 4 knockouts, 15 subs, 4 decisions. And on Chepe's side, out of his 16 wins, he has 7 knockouts, 3 subs, and 6 decisions. You know, so it's going to be a close fight, I think. You know, I just have a slight lean on Chepe. I just think his wrestling is going to be better. I think he's going to take down. He's going to take him down, Damon Jackson. He's going to take him down relentlessly throughout this whole fight, and that's what Chepe Mariscal does. He gets you in the clinch. He likes to get you against the cage, take you down. Throughout the fight, he'll shoot. He'll get takedowns. He'll use his ground and pound, get on top. But he's got to be careful for Damon Jackson's submissions. He does also hit harder, Chepe Mariscal. He hits them much harder than Damon Jackson, I find. I mean, he did get that knockout against Guilherme Faria in the LFA. Also knocked out a guy, Jordan Beltran. But Trevor Peak is another beast of a guy too, who comes at you forward and
One
able to
dimensional.
beat him by unanimous decision there. And Morgan Charrier, another good boxer, he was able to beat by split decision there. So, all right, who do you got here? Who you got here, Andy? Oh, I'm going for Chepe here in this one.
Yeah, well, I have my formulas in my system, and this is definitely a fight where I needed a little help in. So, considering where the odds are, I think it's a no-brainer that you have to pick Damon Jackson in his fight here. I know he's a little older, and I know Chepe's a dog, but trends aren't working in that way. So, I'm going to have to go with the guy I feel is less of a dog in Damon Jackson, more dangerous with the submissions, and I don't even know if at this point if he's chinnier than Chepe Mariscal, because while Damon Jackson may have gotten flatlined, okay, like if you're looking back at whenever the last time he got flatlined, Chepe Mariscal is so tough that he got hit just as hard as that 5 times in the same fight, probably 5 or 6 times in his whole career. This guy, man, has taken such a beating. I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson catches him with a knockout even earlier, because he does have those strong high kicks, especially early in the fight. What I worry about Jackson here is he does slow down. He kind of has that Drekus, though, way of slowing down, is where he's still going to try and throw these shots, but they're really labored and he looks really slowing down. The way Chepe has to win this fight is just stay in his face, clinch it up, be that dog, get a takedown if he can. But even then, he's at risk with submission because
Oh, he'll get the takedowns, man. This guy's wrestling is he's relentless with the
I bet
wrestling.
he'd rather stay in the boxing range really and muck it up, and tough it out. And like, I, I don't know. Maybe if he's smart, he will just try to wrestle continuously. But I don't know if it's really in his DNA. We'll see. I just think this is a very, very good value spot also with Damon Jackson. So I'm going to go with Action Jackson here, baby.
The Leech.
Sorry, by sub. You know what? By sub or knockout.
Yeah, you know what? Like again, I said. Also, I don't think that Damon Jackson is not a bad dog there. I think he's a good dog. And for the betting purposes, yeah, I definitely will put something on Damon Jackson. By a submission might be worth a lot too, or the KO sub prop there would be a good idea. Because, like I said, like he's got out of his 23 wins, he does have the 15 submissions there, so he definitely is a submission threat there. But Chepe is just a very, very scrappy guy. Very, he's a tough guy, and his wrestling is good. Like this guy will wrestle with you, and he'll put up a good fight on the ground. And if Damon Jackson can't get that sub, he will lose this fight. So I think that Damon Jackson needs to get that submission, whereas Chepe can win different ways. He can win by decision. He can win by outpointing him, outstriking him, and also getting some takedowns and some control time on the ground. So we are in disagreement in the first fight of the entire card. We are in disagreement here with this one. So I got Chepe Mariscal, and I have him winning this one by a knockout or a decision in this one. I think he won't sub Damon, but I think he can knock him out. We've seen Damon get rocked. I don't think his chin is that great. All right. So,
Chepe's is just as bad, I think, these days.
yeah, well, it's going to be.
Yeah, you know what? That really is more of a whim, but that's the way you win money in this game, man, is that you got to catch things before they become obvious. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here at the same time.
Yeah, but we also got to think about Damon Jackson also going down on his, starting to go down and starting to be a little bit worse here.
Yeah, it's
Coming up
true.
in age too at 36 years old. All right, so let's move on up the card to the next fight. We got Chris Gutierrez, who we thought was game over, is back in this card again. He's going to be fighting Quang Lee. So for this one here, I am definitely going to go for Chris Gutierrez in this one. Obviously the guy was preparing to fight a far better opponent when he was supposed to fight Javid Basharat, who I think was a far more dangerous opponent and a bigger threat to the ground game also, because Javid Basharat had a lot of He was very good at grappling and submissions as well. But now he's going to fight Quang who I think is a striker, if I'm not mistaken here. And Chris Gutierrez on the feet is just fantastic. Very good boxing, amazing leg kicks. Gutierrez leg kicks are fierce. He's also going to be 3 inches taller than Quang at 5'9". Quang Lee's only 5'6". Quang will have a 3-inch reach advantage. But Chris Gutierrez fighting out of Factory X Muay Thai, these guys are really good. I think that his last loss to Song Yadong is not a bad loss. Song Yadong is a beast. He's very good. He did beat Alatang Haley.
It was a pretty poor performance though against Song Yadong.
But Song Yadong is a fucking dog, man. He's
true, but it was still a bad performance by Gutierrez.
And he lost to Pedro Munoz, who's also a very good guy.
Oh yeah, that was even a worse performance actually. Yeah.
It was a unanimous decision for Pedro, but Pedro's also good at subs and couldn't get him subbed. He couldn't sub him. He did knock out Frankie Edgar, and he knocked out Dana Bagarel. So Chris Gutierrez is not that bad. The Quang Lee, this guy's coming in on short notice. Never fought in the UFC. Only fought a bunch of bums and cans in the LFA, and he's 8-0 in the He's 8-0 in the LFA. And again, I can't see him winning on short notice against a huge step up in competition against Chris Gutierrez here. I think they decided to hook up Chris Gutierrez with this one here since this guy volunteered to fight on short notice. They say, hey, you want to fight? Yeah, sure. Come on in, fight against Chris Gutierrez.
That's the way a lot of them start, man. A lot of them have to accept these early short notice fights to get their foot in the door, right?
Exactly. He would have probably not even been in the UFC if it wasn't for this opportunity here. So, yeah, I got Chris Gutierrez mopping him up with the strikes and the kicks and winning this one by decision or a knockout in this one.
Yeah, I got you Gutierrez winning by points here, most probably. Just keeping him away. Gutierrez loves his space and loves to use those really good kicks that you were talking about. I don't think Tang is gonna be able to impose the kind of pressure and the kind of like infighting that would kind of like mess up Gutierrez's timing and his like plan throughout the fight. Yeah, ultra short notice also. So give me Chris Gutierrez here. El Guapo.
All right, so we are in agreement with that one. Only one disagreement in the entire card, looking very good. That's looking like money to me. Let's move on up to the main event.
All right, Khalil, my man, I know you've been looking forward to this rematch, and you had it circled on your calendar for a long time now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We got Marcin Tybura and Sergey Spivak 2. And man, you could have told me it was 4 and I would have believed you. And for all the wrong reasons. I don't remember that fight. I don't think it was obviously it wasn't anything special. And I don't expect anything special in this fight here. Now, if you look at this fight here, you'll go, wow, 38 years old, 9 months. We're almost 39 for Marcin Tybura here, 10 years younger than Sergey Spivak. I don't think it's going to matter, though. This is the heavyweight division. I think Tybura's he's more well-rounded. Like, Tybura is good nowhere, not even black belt jiu-jitsu or whatever he claims he is, because I haven't really seen any outstanding jiu-jitsu from him. He's just average everywhere. He's not good anywhere. He's not really bad anywhere. And I think that averageness is going to be too much for Sergey Spivak, whose striking is just awful and who hasn't really beat anybody. Like, if you look back on Marcin Tybura, he beat Tai Tuivasa, who I don't consider that special, but he ended up beating him, right? He lost to Tom Aspinall, which everyone loses to, right? But he beats Blagov, Ivanov. He beats Alexander Romanov. He beats people he should beat. So I think he should beat a guy like Sergey Spivak here, who, if we look back, I wanted to point a couple of things out here. He lost to Cyril Gane the last time. I think I even picked him to kind of ragdoll Cyril Gane. Didn't do that. Didn't have an answer for the striking. Lost to Derek Lewis. Sorry, he beat Derek Lewis when Derek Lewis was in that funk. But what I wanted to go back here and talk about was when he beat Alexei Olenek by lying down on him for like the whole fight long. Alexei Olenek was looking for her two subs that whole fight long. He was like 106 years old at the time, and Spivak couldn't even finish him off. So that's really telling for me there. And yeah, I just don't. I think he's going to gas out. Also, I think Tybura has a little more endurance here. So give me a Tybura win by sub or decision in around 4 or 5. We're looking at some money here this time. We're going to be getting some money out of this main event one way or another.
All right, man. I like it. I definitely in agreement with you here. I got Marcin Tybura as well in this one. The last time they fought was in February 29th of 2020.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was going to mention that. Forgot about it. Sorry.
Yeah. So basically, Marcin Tybura beat Sergey Spivak in that fight night by unanimous decision. It wasn't even close. He beat him very, very easily, convincingly. Marcin Tybura only loses to top fighters. He lost to Tom Aspinall, who we just saw a few events ago how good Tom Aspinall is. And he lost to Alexander Volkov, who's also a very, very, very good fighter. So he only loses to like really good fighters, man. He beat Tai Tuivasa, he beat Blagoy Ivanov, he beat Alexander Romanov, he beat Walsh Harris, he beat Greg Hardy, beat Ben Rothwell, he beat a few guys, man. He did lose to Derek Lewis, but that was back in 2018.
And Derek Lewis was in his slump, like I mentioned.
Yeah, so Marcin Tybura is a good vet here, man. I think that he's definitely going to get the win on the second time around. Spivak is decent, but got knocked out by Cyril Gong in that last fight, and then he did beat Derek Lewis, like you said. He did get a sub on Derek Lewis in that one, where he got Derek Lewis down. But the thing is that Derek Lewis is not a grappler. He's not a guy that has very good takedown defense. Marcin Tybura has good takedown defense. Marcin Tybura could grapple. So I don't see Sergey Spivak having an easy time against Marcin Tybura, just like the first time they fought. Sergey Spivak was having a hard time taking him down.
I don't really know where he goes from here. If he can't beat the 39-year-old Tybura in a rematch when he's only 29 years old. It is heavyweight, but still,
Yeah, exactly, man. The age difference doesn't really matter in this one.
Tybura can go on fighting the way he fights until he's 45.
These guys are the same height, same reach. I don't see what's going to change that much in this fight. I don't see how much more better that Sergey Spivak is going to get.
He's going to have to find that sub, and I don't think he's going to be able to.
Yeah, it was not that long ago that they fought, so I can't see that much of a change in Spivak's way of fighting. I think he just fights the same way all the time, and I just see that Tybura is just the harder puncher. The guy's tougher. He punches harder. He's going to be the better striker,
Yeah, it doesn't take much, to be a better striker than Spivak.
Yeah, Spivak's striking is really not that good, man.
Ugh.
Does not have that much power either in his hands, though. Although he did knock out Greg Hardy and Augusto Sakai.
Greg Hardy, speaking of Greg Hardy, I saw him fight. It was on YouTube. I think it was a little while ago, maybe 4 months ago, and he almost got his head knocked off in like bare knuckle boxing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, man. He got knockouts against some guys who don't have the best chins like Greg Hardy and Augusto Sakai anyway. So yeah, I like Tybura in this one. I think he gets the win. I think he'll win the same way by unanimous decision. He's going to be able to stuff the takedowns. He'll be able to outpoint him on the feet and also get some takedowns of his own and maybe grapple with him a little bit as well.
The reason I say he's going to get the 4th or 5th round finish, it's because it's a 5-round fight this time. And I think they're both going to be really tired, and Spivak's probably not going to have enough energy to make it to the end of the fight, just like one of those submission give up wins kind of thing, So, yeah. So other than that, like I would have picked a decision if it was a 3.
There you have it, folks.
Like and subscribe.
Those are our early early predictions for the main card. Stay tuned on Friday for our final thoughts and face-offs and our final predictions.
Best picks in the business.
Peace out, folks. KAMMA.